This is Townsquare Sunday on 1420 WBSM, a place where people come together to talk about some of the good things happening in and around New Bedford. A place to share, a place on the radio for the people.
Come together right now over me.
And now, the moderator of Townsquare Sunday, 1420 WBSM's Jim Phillips.
It's WBSM's Public Affairs program, Townsquare Sunday, on every Sunday at 6 a.m. I'm your host, Jim Phillips, and thanks for tuning in. This morning, we take a close look at a disturbing problem that rears its head far too often in New Bedford and its surrounding communities, and in fact, all over the country and all over the world, really. Elder abuse comes in many forms. And here to tell us about it are two representatives from Coastline Elderly Services in New Bedford. Paula Sipple is the program coordinator for Coastline, and Natasha Salemi serves as the money management in the money management program. She's the coordinator there, also at Coastline. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
This problem, the more I read about it, the more I find out just how widespread it really can be. And it really is a worldwide problem. It doesn't stop here in the United States. It happens everywhere, really. But how prevalent is elder abuse on the South Coast? Paula, why don't we start?
Actually, it's more prevalent than people think. At least
dozens of cases?
Dozens of cases, if
Yep.
not more. They do investigate a lot of these cases, but more of the reporting is coming into play now where people have a means to report, and therefore the statistics are becoming more viewable by the public and those that investigate the cases.
Is it public awareness that makes it that people are now reporting more, or is it just it's got to be more awareness, I would think.
I would say so. More awareness, and there's more views on it now where the DA is actually investigating. He has a special team set up that is investigating reports of elder abuse. So it's becoming more prevalent and more visible to the community, and what you can do about it if you do discover cases of abuse coming through.
Now, this problem, elder abuse, can take many forms, Natasha. And it's not just physical abuse, is it?
Absolutely. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be financial, it can be self-neglect. So the types of elder abuse are very vast. Just to throw out some numbers to you, the financial exploitation, which is the part that I work on, is actually the fastest growing form of elder abuse right now. Alice Bond, which is the State Secretary of Elder Affairs, reports that between 50 to 60% of the perpetrators, which is the people who take advantage of our elders, are family members, not strangers, and this is particularly when it comes to financial exploitation. Also, a recent report from the Federal Administration of Community Living estimates 1.5 million cases of elder abuse were recorded nationwide in 2006, which about half needed further investigation. Also, the Elder Affairs logged about 9,800 confirmed abuse or neglect cases nationwide last year, which is about 40% increase of 2 years prior. So that growth, which Paula was saying, it's due to the education, the awareness of the community, as well as the new reporting system that we have in place.
So what we're going to talk about the reporting system that you mentioned, but what are we seeing here in the South Coast? I imagine what Natasha is saying is mirrored here in the South Coast. You're seeing a lot of financial abuse. In fact, we've read about some cases recently regarding financial abuse. What have you seen, Paula?
I've seen all sorts of abuse in my years working with seniors. But in particular, a couple of years ago, I did run across a severe financial exploitation case. We do most of our work in the client's home. A lot of our clients are homebound, and of course, they're elderly. So I was at this particular woman's home, assisting her with a food stamp application, and when you're over the age of 65, any out-of-pocket medical expenses that you incur will increase the benefit that you get. So I happened to ask her if she was paying out of pocket for any medical expenses, and she did tell me that she had some private pay workers in place that she was paying. She directed me to a file that she had there, and when I started going through the file, the girls that she had working for her were basically wiping her clean. They were taking over $5,000 a week out of her reverse mortgage. They were writing checks out to themselves and having her sign them, and we're talking tens of thousands of dollars that they were paying themselves. Couple of weeks they even took $10,000 out of the reverse mortgage. Then they were taking her credit card and doing orders at the grocery store to the tune of, one of them was $950. This is just for one 90-year-old woman.
So what we're talking about is people buying groceries, taking them home.
Correct.
And not really.
I mean, they had to be. There's no way that she was eating $950
sure.
worth of groceries.
So not to be too specific here, because obviously there is some confidentiality involved, but that case was prosecuted?
Well, unfortunately, by the time I discovered this, was right at the end. They had just taken out the last $5,000. Altogether, they took over $250,000 out of the reverse mortgage. So she had a distant nephew that really was not involved, but he terminated them, and she just went downhill right after that once she realized that she had basically signed over all that money with their encouragement. And she wound up in a nursing home, and she did pass away shortly thereafter. But they were in the process of trying to prosecute one of the girls because she had actually herself signed the check rather than have the client sign it. So that process was starting, but the elder passed away. And I don't think they could continue prosecuting after that.
That is an absolute shame.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. So
what have we got to watch for, Natasha? What do consumers, elderly consumers and their families, what do they have to watch for?
It's certain indicators that when you see them, it's a potential financial abuse, and the indicators are unusual bank account activity, frequent withdrawals, large withdrawals, large ATM usage, adding a cosigner to the bank account, definitely a sign to watch out for, unpaid bills, shut-off notices, forged or suspicious signature of checks, an increased amount of credit card charges. So those are the what we look for.
You're listening to Townsquare Sunday on 1420 WBSM. My guests this segment are Paula Sipple and Natasha Salemi, both of Coastline Elderly Services, which, by the way, is in its 49th year serving the elderly. 40th year.
Yes.
40 years serving the elderly here of Greater New Bedford. Okay, so when your agency becomes involved or becomes aware of one of these cases, what happens next? Paul, I want you to start.
Basically, we would report to the Protective Services Agency, and for Bristol County, that would be Bristol Elder Services in Fall River. If it's a severe case of financial abuse, District Attorney, Thomas Quinn's office created a financial crimes unit in 2015, and he is aggressively investigating cases of elderly financial abuse in specific. That particular case I was just discussing, we made a report with the Fairhaven Police, and then it was reported to Thomas Quinn's office, and they did take it from there.
Well, how much legwork do you have to do, Natasha, before you hand over one of these cases to the DA?
Well, how we do it, when we have, and I want to say that it's not only when you know there's something going on, even if you have a slight suspicion that something is just not right, I encourage everybody to make a report. And what we do is we call the 1-800 Elder Abuse Hotline, and they will ask you a series of questions, and that report will go to Bristol Elders Services, who will do the investigation. And it's up to the Bristol Elder to either investigate and come up with an outcome or a resolution, or bring it to the DA with the district attorney's office.
So as a money management department
Yes.
at Coastline, what do you do? What is your function?
Okay, so
all of that.
Okay, so the money management department basically provide money management assistance to our elders, and we always we know we pay very a lot of attention to these signs, because we do have clients' bank statements, and we cover 23 communities. And we are a state-funded program, and with a lot of oversight, not only by the Office of Elder Affairs, but also by Social Security Administration as well.
Now, do elders or their families come to you and say, "Can you help my loved one here with paying her bills"?
Absolutely.
And that's how it happens?
Yes. Usually the referrals, sometimes it's self-referral, sometimes is a family member. Other agencies referred the client to us, and we go to the client's home and we do an assessment.
So, Natasha, what Paul has told us about a particular case that was disturbing to her. What about yourself? I mean, do you have something that...
We have several. There was one, a lady, an elderly lady, homebound, that lived with her daughter. And the daughter was basically providing the daily activities to the client, providing food and the daily needs, and was also financially exploiting this elder to the point that none of her bills were being paid, including house taxes and all the bills that we get, to the point that the elder did not have money in her bank account to buy food, groceries. Yeah. So we found that out. Actually, it was Bristol that investigated. Bristol called us, made a referral to the money management program, and right now this was a successful case. This client is in a better place, has somebody working from the money management program with the elder, and the elder is now completely able to manage her finances with support from the money management, but which was something that she wasn't able to do before. So that's definitely a successful case.
The district attorney, Thomas Quinn, very soon will announce a conference on elder abuse that's generally held in Taunton in June. The subject is elder abuse. Coastline, a partner in that presentation, as I understand it.
Yes.
Does that conference serve human service workers?
Yes.
All over the region?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Is it helpful?
It's very helpful.
Yeah, I
We
think
usually
so.
have 300 to 400 people attending. We will have several presentations, including one of the presenters will be Alice Bonner, which she is the state
Elder
State
Affairs.
Secretary of Executive Elders of Elder Affairs. She will be there, and it will be another successful event.
Paula, you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we're going to have a press conference on June 1st at 1:15. District Attorney Thomas Quinn at our agency to discuss the elder abuse in the area. And then following up will be the June 15th at Whites of Westport, the conference.
All right. Ladies, what can all of us do to help curb this problem? I know that it is now more, it's part of our overall awareness. We all kind of get it. Hopefully we all kind of get it. But you still see it. And as we said, it can be physical, it can be financial, it can be mental abuse. There are all kinds of things that are happening out there. What can we do as a community, as a people? What can we do to make it better? Natasha, we'll start with you.
I always say again that be vigilant. If you suspect something it's not right, report it. It's not up to you to investigate. It's about you reporting it, and then that report will go to the proper entities, and they're the ones that will do the investigation. They're the ones that will do the work. It's not you. So my recommendation is just report. If you see something is not right, if you have that feeling, report it. Call and make a report.
Yeah. Paula, anything to add?
Absolutely. I think Natasha's right. Half of the abuse cases they're finding are at the hands of family members, though. With seniors now living much later in the community than they used to be, they get to the point that they're no longer able to do their own finances. Refer to the money management program if you see somebody that's having difficulty with their finances that is a senior, because what will wind up happening is someone else will come along and say, I'll do your finances, and then usually it winds up not having a good outcome.
Very good. All right.
Ask questions too of the senior.
Ask questions,
Definitely.
be observant,
Be
Absolutely.
observant, be
Yep.
vigilant in reporting.
Yep.
Absolutely.
My thanks to Paula Sipple and Natasha Salemi of Coastline Elderly Services for coming in and speaking to us about elder abuse. By the way, Elder Abuse Month is June,
Yep.
and that's why the DA is holding his conferences at that time. All of us and the DA, these two ladies, and I'm sure many more in the community, making us more aware about this very real problem. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Townsquare Sunday returns in just a moment.